now you go on social media and it's constant lies, especially to women and about women. We don't know how our bodies work. We don't know these different things. We've been lied to about birth control. We've been lied to about surrogacy. We've been lied to about abortion. We've been lied that a male can just become a woman. Women are currently being erased in culture, and I want to amplify their voices and share their stories. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to This is a Woman podcast. It has been a while since our last podcast. If you listen to the last one, I said the same thing last time, but I was in a season of moving, and then holidays hit, life got busy just with work and all the different fun things going on, and I didn't want to give episodes that weren't good just because I was trying to squeeze them in, but we're in 2024, so Happy New Year. And we are just going to dive in. I'm going to have some amazing guests that I'm so excited for you all to hear from in the next coming months. So many new things just going on for the podcast. But I just wanted to hop on for the first podcast of the year just by myself, just to chat with you all, give you a recap of 2023, what I see coming in 2024, and some different things you can get involved with to help protect women and spread the truth about what a woman is. So, first things first though, I have my coffee today, and that's like a little bit of cinnamon you can see on it. But my coffee, the reason I want to talk about it is actually for Christmas. My mom got me coffee from 7 Weeks Coffee. You can see it's the cute little Keurig cups, 7 weeks, if it loads. I'm showing on right now. If you're just listening, if you go to our YouTube channel, you can actually watch and see everything I'm showing. But 7 Weeks Coffee is amazing. I am a coffee snob. I love trying all the different coffee shops. I love coffee. I drink coffee black straight, or an Americano. I also like chai, so I really do like coffee and can tell you when a coffee tastes good or not. 7 Weeks Coffee, I have the medium roast here, and it is delicious. The reason I bring it up is because it is a pro-life pregnancy center. So it's so cute on the coffee Keurig little cups. It says pro coffee, pro-life, pro coffee, pro-life, like in a circle. And they donate 10% of every single sale to pregnancy centers across the state of California. And if you're not too familiar with pregnancy centers, they provide free services to men and women, family, children, all across the nation. They're absolutely phenomenal. And we actually have an episode last year with Heidi Matzke. She's the director of a pregnancy center in California. And she dives all into her story about becoming a director and what pregnancy centers do. So go check that episode out if you're interested in that. But 2023, that was a wild year. We kicked off the podcast in 2023, I believe in June, and had some great guests. We had Erin Friday. She is an attorney. She is standing up against women being erased and children being harmed here in the state of California and across the nation. We had Erin Getz. She is the state director at the March for Life. We had Heidi Matzke, like I mentioned, the director of a pregnancy center. We had Chloe Cole, a detransitioner, share her testimony about being lied to by the medical world, by everyone in her life about being transitioned and becoming a boy or trying to become a boy. And then she eventually detransitioned and is now sharing her story to prevent other children from going through those same harms. We talked about human trafficking. We talked about surrogacy. So many things. So if you haven't seen all those episodes, definitely go check those out. But 2023 for myself was also a crazy year. I was up living by the California State Capitol for most of the year and fighting against legislation. I had to tell legislators, men don't menstruate. You'd think they'd be like, yeah, why are you telling us this? This is common sense. If you haven't seen the video yet on the This is a Woman podcast Instagram account, they actually called me homophobic, transphobic, that I was hateful, and all these different things for saying men don't menstruate and we don't need to put menstrual products in men's restrooms. So things got crazy up at the Capitol. As well, if you've been kind of watching along, you're probably familiar with the library situation. Back in August of 2023, I went to go share my story at a library in Davis, California. If you're not familiar with Davis, California, it is known to be one of the most liberal places in California. And I just went to share about being a college athlete. I was there to just share that at 10 years old, all I wanted to be was a college soccer player, and I was eventually able to achieve that goal of mine. But current girls can't achieve that same goal because men are playing in women's sports. And that got the event shut down. The librarian threatened to kick me out. And so we are suing the library. I don't want to talk too much about that because my attorneys are not here with me on this podcast. But if you go to California Family Council's podcast, I've done interviews with my attorney there, as well as go check out the This Is a Woman podcast Instagram page. You can see different news clips from Fox News and different things like that where we actually talk about it. So yeah, we're kind of in the middle of that lawsuit. We're hoping to have some answers soon and host the event again pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. But 2023, we started off 2023 and people would tell you, men aren't in women's sports. Boys aren't going into girls' restrooms. People aren't just lying about their gender. These people are actually struggling with this issue. And I think we're now starting 2024 with people woken up. And so, again, that's why I have this podcast, because people weren't waking up. People are now woken up to what's happening, that women are being erased. And that's why this podcast exists, because I want there to be a spot for men, brothers, grandpas, dads, boyfriends to come listen to a podcast to understand kind of what is happening to women, and maybe be able to help their daughters if their daughter finds themselves in an unplanned pregnancy, or know how to talk better with their daughters about certain situations like surrogacy and human trafficking. But this podcast also exists for the girls, because I think back to being in junior high and high school, and no girl likes the way her body looks. And maybe there are some days where you do. I love the way my body looks today. But there's always something a girl wants to fix. If you ask any girl, would you change anything about your body? They wouldn't say, no. They'd say, I wish my hair was a little longer. I wish my teeth were a little straighter. I wish my waist was a little smaller. All these different things. We're always nitpicking. We can always find things to change. But when I was in junior high and high school, I felt like I had really great adults in my life and people around me and friends around me that we were supportive of each other, and hey, it's okay to feel uncomfortable, and hey, these different things, or hey, this is advice on this. And now you go on social media and it's constant lies, especially to women and about women. We don't know how our bodies work. We don't know these different things. We've been lied to about birth control. We've been lied to about surrogacy. We've been lied to about abortion. We've been lied that a male can just become a woman. And so that's why I have this podcast, and that's why I think it's so important, especially coming into 2024, for there to be a place for women and girls to come listen and get advice from other amazing women and girls that I have on as guests on this podcast, and just to learn from each other and grow from each other, and to know that when you Google search something about being a girl, you're going to maybe be lied to. You're not going to get the truth, or because people can't even define what a woman is nowadays. But I want you to be, hey, I want to know how does surrogacy affect a woman's body and a woman's mind? I want you to be able to come to this podcast and be able to learn from a woman who is an expert in that field about how it genuinely affects women, or different things like that. What do pregnancy centers provide to women? Because, I'm not pregnant, but I need this kind of service, or I need that. Can I get that there for them from free? And I want you to be able to come here and hear about that and grow from just some amazing women. And myself, if it's not evident across my social media and the things I've talked about, I am Christian and I am conservative. That is not necessarily the case about everyone that's a guest speaker on here. I really do want a lot of Christian women on the podcast, just pouring into women. But I do think it's okay if we don't agree with each other on every single thing. There's so many different things going on. And so I've had people that we don't share the same faith background, but we share the same want to protect children come on here. And so I just think that's important to be able to hear from everyone. But for myself, and where this podcast is going to stay aligned, is on the fact that I'm Christian, and that's first and foremost what I'm going to hold going on. So with that all to say, I also want this to be a space where you feel like you could put input of, hey, I think this person would be a great guest, or hey, I want to learn about this. So please feel free to message me at any point. Again, if you are on Instagram, that is where we are most active, have things most going on. That is This Is a Woman podcast, which is all one word on Instagram. That's the account. So send me a message, do things like that, so we can get people on here that you want to hear from. But just a couple things now going into 2024. There's some events going on. I'll keep you guys updated on different events. Of course, many of them are in California because that's where I'm based out of. But sometimes they're across the state or in DC. And so next week, or you're listening now, I'm recording this a little bit early now that you're listening this week. So this coming Thursday, there is we're going to have a protest and rally outside the NCAA convention. If you're not familiar with the NCAA is college sports. That is one of the main divisions and one of the most well-known divisions in college sports. And we're seeing issues nonstop with them allowing men to play on women's sports teams. So we have a convention going on. We'll be posting more about on social media, different things. So I will be outside speaking at the rally. I'll be there alongside Kim Jones, who is with Icons. They do a phenomenal job talking about women's sports. I'll be out there with my friend Riley Gaines. I'm sure you're all familiar with her and her story of being a swimmer and having to swim against a male. So that event is going on. We're going to share about on social media. And again, we're just urging the NCAA leaders to make a change to their policies and make sure that women's sports are protected. The other event is it's the Don't Mess with Our Kids March, and it's happening in California. So the women's sports one is in Phoenix, Arizona. This one is in California. It is on January 13th. That is a Saturday, and it is in Fontana. So that one, the whole idea of that event is in Planned Parenthood. You know, everyone knows Planned Parenthood for doing abortions. Now they've had a huge increase on actually dealing with transgender ideology. So they are giving hormone blockers, which people will say, oh, just to kind of delay what's going on. No, when a child is giving hormone blockers, if a young girl is given hormone blockers, it actually delays her period from coming. It delays her body from going through natural puberty, which can actually result in a lot of long-term harms. So Planned Parenthood is going into California public schools. They're going to be in there. They want to have their little clinics in there, and they want to be able to talk to the children and say, hey, it's okay for you to feel confused. And again, all they're doing is confusing children more. So we're going to protest that. And the reason I bring that up is because I'm going to be one of the speakers at the event. So I thought, let me go online and I'm just going to get a cute little Protect Kids shirt, because that's what we're simply trying to do, protect kids. We don't want kids to get their healthy body parts chopped off. We don't want them to delay puberty, which might hurt them in the long run. You know, these girls, when they go and start transitioning and start taking hormones, the testosterone, it changes their voice. And if they come to regret that a couple of years later, their voice will never be the same. Their body shape will never be the same. All these things are changed, and we're letting these young children, literally letting 12-year-olds make these decisions without their parents. So again, we're just trying to protect kids. So I go online, look up a little shirt, Protect Kids t-shirt. I just get a little shirt to wear the thing. And the first place I looked was Amazon. And now that it's happened, I shouldn't be surprised that it did, but I just wasn't thinking about it. Every single shirt was protect trans kids, protect LGBTQ plus kids, all these different things. And it just kind of broke my heart, because letting children go through those surgeries, taking the medication, hormones, all of that is doing nothing to protect them. And the stats show their mental harm actually, or their mental health actually decreases. It causes more harm in them. So I was really frustrated about the shirts. One of them, it said protect trans kids, and it had a knife on it. And I thought, is the knife there to kind of show how you're actually physically cutting off their healthy body parts? Or is the knife there because you are willing to go to extensive violence against people who are standing against trans ideology? And that's what the case is. These people say they're inclusive and welcoming, but no, they're willing to literally go to these stages of violence to protect trans ideology. And I condemn all forms of violence from anyone, from any side, anything like that. But all that to say was I decided to make my own little t-shirt. So I wanted to show you guys. So if you're just listening, you can go again, watch on the YouTube so you can see the shirt. But here it says, male and female, he created them. And it's Jesus. And it's two little kids, a little boy and a little girl. And it's from Genesis 1:27. And then the back of it is bigger so you can see it more. Male and female, he created them. And then it says at the very bottom, you can see right there, it says at This Is a Woman Podcast. So it's just a cute tee, a little outline of Jesus and two little children. And It's Genesis 1:27. And I think that's so extremely important for us to pay attention to that. There's no part of the Bible that is more important or different things. The whole Bible is extremely important. We should live our lives out by it. But Genesis 1, the first book, the first chapter of the first book of the Bible, makes it clear. Male and female, he created them. If we as Christians can't get that right, how are we going to get anything else right? So that's kind of how I thought. I know this doesn't say protect kids. Like I said, I want a protect kids shirt, but it is about protecting kids. It's male and female, he created them, and that's who our identity is. He didn't make mistakes in us. No one's born in the wrong body. So that's kind of why I made this shirt. Now, last thing, 2024, pivotal year, because it is an election year. And again, this isn't necessarily a political podcast, but how we vote does affect what's going on. And so in California, since 2013, in 2013, AB 1266 was signed into law. This bill made it so boys can participate in girls' sports, go in girls' locker rooms, and go in girls' bathrooms, and vice versa. Girls could do that to boys in public schools. So again, this was a bill that was signed into law in 2013 and went into effect in 2014. This has been going on for 10 plus years. This isn't something that just started yesterday. Did people start using it and taking advantage of it, and boys started playing on girls' teams and going in girls' locker rooms recently? Yes, more so recently, but California legislators knew what they were doing. So that bill is law. The way to undo that bill is by putting getting an initiative, getting it on the ballot. So you might have heard of the Protect Kids California ballot initiative. This ballot initiative does 3 simple things. It will keep boys out of girls' sports, bathrooms, and locker rooms in public schools. It will make it so that if a child chooses to start identifying as a different gender in schools, so they've told their teachers or they've told the principal or different things that they want to be called a different name and identify as a different gender, parents need to be notified. And the last thing it does is a minor cannot get surgery to transition and try to transition themselves. So a minor cannot have their healthy breasts cut off. And you might think, oh, that's not happening. Again, I talked about in the beginning of the podcast, it is happening. Chloe Cole is a detransitioner that's happened to her, and she's still every day is oozing from her chest because she got a double mastectomy at 15 years old. So, and she's from California. So that's happening here in California, and children are being harmed. So that ballot initiative will do those 3 things. It's simply protecting California kids. And what happens here happens across the nation. If we can stop the dangers here, if we can stop boys from being on girls' sports teams here, we can stop it across the nation. So the way to get this initiative onto the ballot in 2024 to actually vote on, it needs to have 550,000 valid signatures for it. So that means as of right now through it's like April, May, we need to get all those signatures. Which means you really need to get 1 million signatures because some signatures get knocked off, someone writes their address wrong, someone doesn't, just different little things happen. They have to be very particular, making sure each signature is correct. So you can visit protectkidscalifornia.com, and on there you can see where you can print out, where you can sign, and then mail in your signatures to who's in charge of this, Erin Friday, who I've actually had on 2 podcast episodes last year. She is one of the leaders in this and doing a phenomenal job, but we can't sit around. Go walk your neighborhood. If every single person that cares about this, is upset about this, is angry about this, can get 100 signatures, we can make this happen. So go print it out. Think about how bad it's gotten and how much worse it's going to get if we don't stop this now. So go print it out, walk around, take 1 day. Take 1 day from now until April and get as many signatures as you can get. So I will keep you all updated about that. I will keep you updated about the 2 different events I mentioned and keep you updated on events in the year. Again, go get 7 Weeks Coffee. I'm literally not even sponsored by them. It's just delicious. That's why I'm genuinely telling you guys about them. Hope to be sponsored, so maybe we can work on that. But it's that delicious and just wanted to let you all know. But thank you guys all for listening. Please share with your friends, share with your family. And follow us on social media. Again, we are most active on Instagram, but I'm looking forward to having some great guests coming on soon. But again, I just wanted to start 2024 off, just me and you chatting here telling you some recap, telling you what's coming, and I'm looking forward for you to all hear from the amazing guests coming soon. So thanks, y'all.